Hey folks, it's going Holio. I have again tonight, this is the Aselkon IT1. It is a made in Turkey by Aselkon for ADCO CIA, Woburn, Massachusetts. And it is pretty much a Benelli clone, quite like the M2. I did 3 series video on this thing, doing a lot of work on it a while back. Get both cameras up in here. And I had a few people ask me to do a breakdown on it, how to take it apart, clean it, all that kind of good stuff. So let's go ahead and, first of all, we'll do a safety check. There's nothing I can see in there. Open them up, nothing in there, nothing in the mag tube. And, all right, it's an inertia gun. To hold it back, just like a Benelli, push this little button right here. It locks it open. Press the release here. Sends him back home. All right, to take him apart, we're first going to take off the end cap, the mag tube retaining nut. Take that apart, sit it over there. Fore-end barrel comes off. And he's dirty because I didn't clean him the last time I got done. Shot him again the other day. Works good. This one comes off the bottom. Instead of coming off the top, like you do a lot of them, pull it off the top, this one comes down off the bottom. And you will notice that it has the small ring. Okay? Am I on the right side? Yeah. Has a small ring on it, so no, you cannot take this gun and add an extended mag tube to it. It's like the Benelli Ethos, the Montefeltro, and a couple of other guns. It does have an action spring in the stock, and you can take 2 Phillips head screwdrivers, take them 2 nuts out of the back, pull this off, and take a bolt off. I think it's a 13 millimeter, and then pull the stock off. It comes right off. I'm not going to do that in this video. If you want to clean that action spring out, you can see when you take it off, there's a little end screw on the end of the action tube. Slowly take that off. Be careful. Put a stick through it or punch through it to hold the spring, because when you take that, what's on my table? When you take that end cap off, that action spring is under a lot of pressure and it will go flying. So when you take the butt stock off, you will see you can put a punch through the hole, take it off to capture that spring. When you take that spring off, pull the spring out, there's an end piece, a spring, and then a plug tube follower that all comes out. All right, now to get the bolt out, simply pull it back a little bit and pull out your bolt handle, and this will come forward. It comes off. It has the link on it like you're going to see on all your Benellis. Okay, it looks very familiar. And my hands are filthy now, of course, because this thing is dirty. So let me grab a rag that I should have already had out. Yeah, that'll work. All right, we got that apart. Let's get a punch, and we're going to take the trigger group out. Oh, come on. Take this punch, there's 1 pin, pop it, it comes out the other end. I might pop a little harder. There we go. That comes out, your pin, it's up a pin, this comes out, just like such. Now, inside, you can see the plunger right here. That's what your link goes into. This link has to be put back in, has to ride in that plunger. So I can show on this camera too, the plunger in there. It's that little silver plunger. That's the end of your action spring. That's what gives your bolt its recoil back and forth when it shoots. All right, you guys know most about this stuff. All right, so that's pretty much a good fill strip right there. Take your solvents, cleaning agents, whatever you want to do, clean down in here with a rag, go around it. Get him cleaned out, whatever it is you feel you need to do. This is your bolt release. That's what you're hearing snapping in there. All right, and then put you some oil and grease back in there. your plunger spring, dab a little grease inside that plunger right there for the end of this to follow through. Taking this thing apart. Do we want to take the bolt apart? Do we? Yeah, I guess we can. You're not going to take the link off the back, okay? But you can take this thing apart and get your get it cleaned all out, your bolt. All right, there is a little, just like a Benelli, there is a little pin right here. It's got a washer on it. And it's a little pain in the butt to get out sometimes. So take a little small screwdriver pick, push in on the firing pin and get under this and get that out without damaging the O-ring. Or you can take a punch on this side, smaller punch, and push. I should have my little vise block out here. Once y'all get that out now, oh, there's another rag. So we can do this without punching holes. Anyway, take a little punch, set it over that, and any hammer or anything you can knock down on this with. We'll put them in there, or that's in the middle. All right, now when you get it started and get it coming out, it'll fall on out. Hold tight on it. When you pull this out, now your spring can come out, okay? Just like that, because it's captured by that little pin. Now your bolt, the bolt face and the carrier here, there's a pin that drops out. The little pin has a line on it, which must be, let me put that up front where you can see it. Is it gonna filter on it and not my face? Anyway, there's a little line, I hope that did. There's a little bitty line that must be forward and aft when it goes in, because there's a hole that your firing pin goes through. So when you put your link back in here, this little tab, your firing pin is going to go through it, like such, okay? So it lines up. You'll notice that little line, maybe get better on this camera. This little line right here must be in the same line with your firing pin for it to go back in. All right, now your bolt will come out. There is no spring behind the bolt head on this one like there is on a bunch of other guns. There's no spring in there, okay? It goes back in. It only goes one way. With your writing here, this is Inertia Technologies. Your extractor needs to be on this side, not flipped around to that side. Okay, it won't work that way. Now you can see, oh, there is a spring in there. I'll be darned. I have to edit that out. There was a spring in that. I looked down there, didn't see it, because one of my other guns I have does not have a spring behind it, and I thought it was this one. Oh well, one of the other guns has it. Anyway, okay, so, haha. See what you see when you start making these videos? All right, now, there is a detent that holds your extractor in here. You hear it? Well, a little detent pops in there. It's under spring retention. There's a little screw right here. You take a little small screwdriver, unscrew that thing out and get that spring and detent out and clean in there if you want to. I don't clean that. Never found a reason to. I might do it like once a year or once every other year, but I'm not going to do that right now. So anyway, clean your bolt off, wipe it down with a good rag, all that good stuff. Whatever it is you got to do. Spring still got grease on it. Put the spring back in there. Let's go to the bolt head. Now it is chromed, very nicely chromed, I should say. So let's just wipe him down and get in there. Wipe all of that down behind the bolt, locks, and clean that out. And if you want to get picky and get you a Q-tip or a pipe brush cleaner, you can squish down in there and clean the bristles out, clean out the inside, but this is still clean. It's only been shot a few times. All right, putting them back together. Let's start with our bolt head and our bolt. We take the spring, the damping spring, or whatever that thing's called. It's put that in there, then put our bolt back in, okay? Like I said, keeping our extractor on the same side as the writing right here. All right, we got that in. Now let's take our little retainer, line him up and drop him in and turn it so that the screw, the lines, like a screwdriver head, is parallel, okay? That keeps him out like that. All right, he's parallel. We take our firing pin and spring, wipe the tip of that off, and put him back in here. And if that thing is lined up right, this will go all the way in and shoot back out and hit me in the chest when I drop it. Oop. That's why you wear safety glasses. I wear my glasses. These are approved safety glasses, prescription wise. All right, let's put him back in there. Line that up. Firing pin goes in there. Keep it in there, held my finger, and then take the pin with the O-ring on it, okay, and put him back in here. And it'll hold the firing pin in. And this one is a good stout one, so we're gonna tap him into place all the way down flush on the O-ring. All right, he is holding your bolt in there, is being held in by that. It does turn, because it'll turn and lock when it locks up. All right, so that's good. All right, now we're going to set that aside. That is back together. Let's take a look at our trigger group. Okay, these trigger groups, they do not recommend you take these apart. However, they can be taken apart quite easily. Do I want to take this apart? Yeah, I guess we can. We got that. Is that showing real good? Yeah, okay. I'm trying to put a white rag down here to get behind this. All right, trigger assembly. All right, like here's a button you push right here, the little button with a red dot on it to push it to get your bolt to lock back, okay? It's under spring tension. The spring goes a certain way. Probably sit better on this camera here. It loops around, it goes up, and then there's a corner right here, okay? Oh, I have that and that. Let me get my little punch out here where I can take a look at it. All right, you can use a screwdriver, a little punch. I like a little pick. All right, take the pick, take this up, and just kind of set him off to this side, okay? Off of that. All right, so he's kind of hanging there. He will come out. He is held in. He helps hold in the trigger hinge pin right here. All right, which I'm not going to take that out. There is another one back here that holds the stop. I'm not going to take that out. That's just too much. We don't need that out. There's nothing holding that one, and you would think it has a little line on it too, like that. You'd think that little trigger retainer, there'd be some kind of retainer to hold this in, but it's just in there, okay? And line him up dead even with that. All right, so again, you pull your trigger. That releases this, okay? Now, before I pull the pin out, I'm going to leave this thing locked down, okay? And there's a reason. I'm going to lock the safety on so we don't pull that loose. I want to get this out, and you know what? No, I'm going to release it. Sorry, my bad. Let's go back and redo that. Let's release the hammer. There's a lot of springs going on here. I'm going to show you what's going to come out, okay? When I pull this retaining pin out, the hinge pin for the hammer and for your lock here, this little thing, when I pull that out, do you see what's pushing down on it? Your trigger, your hammer spring. The hammer spring and this little capsule right here. That's going to want to go flying off, okay? So what we have to do is just kind of hold this, all right? Or keep this down, keep something over it, because when it's all going to come apart, it is going to want to go flying. Now there's a D-ring on it like all your other shotguns. You just simply grab, there's the bottom flat and the top. Just grab the top of that with your fingernail and pull it over and roll it off. There's your D-ring, okay? There is a small little crevice right here right here, a divot that's cut out that flat line D sticks in, okay? Now, I have found, they make a tool for this, but I found that a screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, or actually this one is a Torx, take that and put it in here, all right? Keep your finger on this, keep that down, or protect it, and keep a pinch on this so it don't go flying off. And we're gonna push that pin out and leave a screwdriver in there, okay? The pin's out. All right. Now, when I take this piece off, this trigger spring right here is going to come flying out, okay? So I'm gonna hold the hammer spring. I'm gonna hold this with my hand, and I'm gonna take this piece off. All right, set them right here. Now I'm gonna slowly let up, keeping my finger over all this because it's a big ass spring under there. We'll let that down, slowly let this spring come up in the cap. All right, there's your hammer spring. It's huge, okay? Gonna lay him down. All right, now then, go over here to the carrier dog, and you can simply, it's just got a spring right here and a washer that it goes through. Some of the Benellis will have an actual washer that sits on top. This one does. You just grab the spring in that and pull it down and lift it over the side. So there's a divot right there for this head to go into, okay? I'll pull the spring off. It goes into there. So you put it back in here and pull it down and then put it back up in there. It'll fit in there just fine with the spring on, all right? So we'll lay them right there, okay? Now then, there's really nothing else. You can pull this out, slowly pull them out. You have your hammer and you have your carrier with the dog on it, okay? Now, you can pull out the sear and all of that and the trigger and lock it all up, but I don't recommend doing that, okay? When you pull your trigger, it comes down. You can spray this out and clean it. You can pull this pin right here out, which the spring kind of holds into place. And you see the orientation of the spring goes up, long down, and underneath that, all right? There is a tiny little divot cut into the side of the pin, kind of like that. You see, if you can see the divot right here, right, that this spring catches onto. And this trigger is spring loaded, and there is a trigger stop right here. Like I said, you can pull that out and the trigger will go, see it's locked. See how the trigger only goes back to that far? You pull this pin right here out and the trigger will go back farther, release some of the tension. To get out your safety, you see this little silver pin right here? There's a hole right here, okay? Under spring tension, lots of spring tension. When you go to take a tiny punch and push this little pin, silver pin out, keep your thumb over here. There's a spring and a ball detent under there, just like on all your other shotguns. All right, if you want to take this safety out, I don't think you can put a bigger safety. You might put a triangular type safety, but you can't really put a bigger safety on there, okay? Trigger won't fire, trigger will fire, okay? You can pull these two pins out. The trigger one, and it has a sear with a spring in here, and you can see the spring down in there. It can be a pain in the butt getting this thing back together when there's no real need to take it apart, okay? So don't. I take brake cleaner, spray brake cleaner in there, shake it out, then immediately spray rim oil over it, and that works perfect. Cleans it out real, real good, okay? So let's go back to putting them together, all right? I am gonna wipe some of this stuff out because it's been shot. And there's dirt up in there. But it's all chrome. Wipes off real easy. And my carrier dog just come out because it does have a pin holding it, and the pin goes on the back side like such. See the pin? You stick the pin back in there and it's held. When you put it in place, it won't come out, all right? So, like I said, my carrier's like this. The carrier dog goes up in here. That divot is going to go in there like that, so I've got them oriented right. All right, now let's keep that in place. Let's put this up into the place where he goes. He goes down here is kind of pinched. There it went. He'll go in there. Just got to get him in the right way. All right, so we got that in place, and that's the outermost portion of what I need. All right. This pin here, however, is going to go in this way. So we got a lot more stuff to put on first. All right. First and foremost is this, your bolt latch. We're going to set them right here for right now. I'm not going to worry about the spring that's behind it yet. Okay. All right, we got that there, that lined up. Let's go ahead and start. Well, don't really need that yet. Let's put our hammer in. Now our hammer has to go in this way. It strikes that way. So we put the hammer down here. Now then I can go ahead and start to put the screwdriver through, catch the hammer. Get in there. Okay, he's starting to go through. All right, we've got that there. Let's take our hammer spring and stick it down in this big hole that you can see this is going to capture, okay? And our hammer plunger, put him in there. All right. Best way to get this on is to push it down, take your hammer over, and let's go ahead and lock our hammer. All right. Now look at there, everything lined up. Okay. We have this. We can go ahead and push him in about right there. Like I said, our spring, we can pull that up in a second. Now we'll put our pin back through. Bam. Shoved him through. He's all in there. All right. We can take a small pick and lift up on this spring that I had back here. It'll go around it and pull him up over and let him hook right there. Now that's in place. All right, that's pretty simple. Now we got that all the way through. Let's go ahead and put our D-ring back on. All right, I have the, turn him. There's my cutout right here. It's just a little, I don't know what the degree is, cutout. You're going to put the flat part of the D-ring in that and just fold it over. And he's on there. All right, that's that's simple. Now we go to our carrier dog, okay? The top portion with the little knob goes on top. You put your spring back on it, put him in the hole, push it down, grab it. Some people use pliers. I find that I don't need pliers. And there he is. Folks, we have our trigger all back together. Test it. Oop, yep, that works. Pulling the trigger back, the hammer will release. Lock him, turn the safety on. Now the trigger won't release it. But again, if you were to be holding your gun and carrying your gun and you drop the gun on the butt plate really, really, really hard, you see that the sear can be released by doing this. Watch. Look at, oh, this one has a double stage. It has the trigger sear. Oh, I like that. That lets go. Actually, you know, I don't know if this one will. No, it won't. This setup here, I guess if you dropped and jolted it hard enough, it ain't like the old Remingtons. This one here actually has, that's like a two-stage. When you pull the trigger and fired it and then it recycles, then you let go of the trigger, it resets and catches right there. So your sear is off of that. It's your actual trigger that releases it. Huh, that's pretty cool. I hadn't even really paid that attention. On a lot of shotguns, I've talked about in other videos, the sear is pressed up and the hook's on this side. The hook will be right here that's actually released. All right, this one, the hook that releases it is on the inner side right here. That is phenomenal. That is really, really a good idea. Because as you can see, if you bump this hard gun on its buttstock hard enough, that could come back and release it on the older style guns. These new ones, you fire it, it goes boom, You keep your finger still on the trigger. When it resets, it catches on the back one, and when you let go of the trigger, now it's reset and catches on the front one. I really like that. All right, so we've got our trigger all back together. Everything's clean and working, okay? So let's start putting stuff back together on the gun. I like to put a trigger group in there first because it holds the bolt when it's latched back. The only thing that you got to be careful of is you got to make sure when you put your bolt in that it goes in and that the link here on the back of the bolt, make sure that that link goes into that cup. Now you can pick it up with something and hold it. Now he's in there, okay? So that's in there. Now I can go ahead and take my charge handle, stick him in there, and just push him in until he clicks into place. And I think that's going to, yeah, that's going to hold him. Oh, did I catch a metal splinter? I think I caught a metal splinter on the edge of that. Hold on. Well, if I did, he'd come out. Thank the Lord. Whew, them things hurt, metal slivers. There was something on the edge of the extractor that bit me. He's not in my finger no more. Okay. All right, so this is good enough. When the bolt handle is put in and you've got the link in the cup, he's going to hold it there. You see how that link attaches to that? Goes back. There's your recoil. Okay. We put our trigger group back in. You simply drop him in there, push him back, all the way back, and you can see that that one hole lines up to put this pin in. Oh, you got to pop it with something. Get in there. Well, that's the D-ring on that it's catching against. Okay, and I don't have him in there far enough back or far enough down, one or the other. But that little D, that flat line of the D, is what this is all catching into. Why are you not going in the hole? That hammer hinge pin is what this is all going into. And he is a pain sometimes to get him lined back up perfectly. So you gotta wiggle him until you can get him lined up in there. There he goes. Pop him in there. I like to push them on both sides so they're even and make sure that it's caught in the detent. And I think he is. But that little D-ring on the trigger, on the hammer hinge pin is what that, yeah, he's in there. He snapped in. You can feel it. It just feels like he's sticking out too far on this side. Maybe he is. Maybe I don't care. Anyway, he's in there. I might turn him around later. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to turn around now because I just don't like that. Looks like he goes one of two ways. So we'll punch him out again. And now I forget which way I had him turned. Tag nabbit. Can't really see it on here. Which one is which? Or which way he goes, but we're going to put him back. He went in easier this way. Yeah, there's the D-ring right there. That's what it's snagging on and what it locks into place and catches it. And that's what I'm trying to feel. I got him. Yeah, he feels like he's locked in better that way. Okay, so he's in there now, all right? Now, he locks back only because I had pushed that earlier. All right, press the button, you see that comes up, it will come up. He will not lock back again until you push this button again. That holds him back. Now, let's go to our barrel, and should I run a, nah. And it does take Benelli Creo choke tubes to work in this thing. Just gonna wipe them out a little bit. And take the barrel back on it and get him started in there. Line up your little hole. Sometimes to get it to fall all the way in, slowly hold it, let your there. Okay, now he's in. Let's lock that back. We got him held back. Let's put our, oh crap, I forgot. We can't put this on like this. We have to put this on first. So I just did all of that. And I have to put this on first. Now then, I can put the barrel. Oh, he went in fine. And wiggle that. There are two holes right here that this has to go into, well, one. There it went. Okay, that's all the way down. And all we do now is put our nut back on it. Okay. Let's check him. We will not. Y'all know he's empty. That works. Put safety on. He won't fire. Okay, that's a disassembly. Probably a little more than anybody wanted, but that's it. I will eventually run a bore snake down the barrel and brush it out, but I'm going to shoot this tomorrow again, so I'm not going to bother with all that cleaning right now. As far as taking off your safety, I mean your ghost ring sight, this screw right here holds the whole rail on. The whole rail will slide off the back. If you take that one back screw out, this will all slide off. I don't see no sense in doing that. You might want to periodically check that screw is still tight. It takes a Phillips or that, or a regular screwdriver. Yeah, he's tight. But that's it, folks. The Aselkon IT1 12 gauge shotgun. This thing will not shoot light loads, okay? It's designed as a home defense gun. The premier ammo for this gun is double-aught buck or slugs. Slugs, I recommend a modified cylinder, improved cylinder, modified. That's it. I wouldn't really go any higher than that. Most guns will shoot slugs out of other, if they're the rifled slugs that have the little squishy end on the back part, that, you know. But to say about slugs, don't shoot them out of nothing but open cylinder. That's about it. Folks, this shoots 2 3/4 or 3-inch Magnum shells. Aselkon IT1 12 gauge shotgun, semi-automatic, inertia driven. Great little gun for home defense. It'll shoot buckshot and slugs all day long, no problem. Got a good little squishy butt pad on it. Y'all seen the other videos. All right, so that's a disassembly, breakdown, clean, put them back together kind of thing, and we'll see how this video goes. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Love you guys. God bless you. God bless America. And Cornholio out.